I just programmed my CNC machine to carve a 3D relief, but there's just one small problem. This is my first official 3D relief carving. Well, kind of. There was one before it. I'll explain that to you guys later on. This could be the best 3D piece I've ever made, or the most expensive piece of firewood in my shop. Stay tuned in to find out. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a surprise for you guys. If you are new here, my name is Antonio Romero, and I just got a wonderful new machine that I would like to show off to you guys. So check it out. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Onefinity Elite Foreman. Yep, that's right. I finally put in my bucks and I bought me a CNC machine. My very first CNC machine. One heck of a machine, let me tell you guys. And today we're going to be doing one of my very first relief carves. A relief carve is basically a 3D carve. I do have one right here that was a practice carve. This is the first one that I learned on, so I could learn the software and learn the CNC machine. And I think we're ready for a big one. So we're gonna go ahead and start on it. So let's go ahead and do it. But before we get into the carving, I just want to show you guys this real quick. This is the block we're going to be carving. I already cut some pieces to length and did a glue up. All we have to do now is straighten out the sides. So I go ahead and I send this block through the table saw before starting the carve. Alright, I switched to the GoPro. We're going to start off by homing the machine. And basically what homing is that just tells the machine that this is where it's at relative to the placement of the bars, aka where it's at in space. Once that is done, we're going to bring this to the corner of our workpiece. And if you're, just in case you're wondering, this is a spillboard system that I put together. I designed it on the computer using some dog holes and 3/4 inch dowels, and then these clamps that I pulled off of the shaper hub. I loved the shaper origin, but the big downside with the shaper origin is it was just really slow compared to a CNC machine, so I just had to upgrade. Once we zeroed out the machine in the corner, zeroing basically just tells the machine this is where the workpiece is, and it also tells it that this is the very corner, the bottom left-hand corner of the workpiece, so that it knows where we're going to place our design. We are going to start off with our roughing path, and basically that just removes the bulk of the material for our design. So I could use this tool, but the tool that I entered into the file is a round over 1/4 inch ball nose. So this is what we're going to be using to remove the bulk of the material. This is going to be a very long carve. Bring you guys a little closer here. All right, now we have our ball nose in there. We can tighten that right up, make it nice and tight. And as you guys can see, the spillboard system works really great. This thing is solid as hell. It's popping up just a little bit. Just gonna push that down because you never know with little things like that. Now, I actually ended up messing this part up. It's kind of hard to tell just by watching the time lapse, but the bit is slightly going past the edge of the workpiece, meaning that the design wasn't properly centered or zeroed out. It could have also been a scaling problem. Either way, I ended up surfacing the first layer, back off, and restarting the carve. Alright, a lot of trial and error later, and we are back at it. I redid the file, I resurfaced this, and we are starting from ground zero. One more time, let's do it. So I almost forgot to mention, when I redid the file, I actually changed the bit to a spiral bit instead of the ball nose, because I ended up breaking the ball nose on accident. I was running it way too deep and I snapped it in half. But as the old saying goes, you live and you learn. Okay, I switched to the GoPro view, so you guys are watching from the GoPro. There we go. Take our bit out. Just for reference, this piece took about 4 hours to rough out with the CNC. Probably could have got it a little bit quicker if I refined my numbers, but I'd say that's about decent. Alright, let's go ahead and start the carve. Alright, the finishing pass is a lot of tool paths, so it's taking a minute to load up. There, it's loading up the image. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead. Alright, the file is loaded. Now, we just gotta hit this green button right here, but I always like to put the feed all the way down at 20% before I start it, just in case. So now we're gonna hit the green button and we're gonna watch it just to make sure everything is okay. And we gotta hit it again. And it goes. I try removing the remaining parts of the edges with a router table, but around here, I realize it's not going to work because there's just too much sawdust compacted in there. So I decide to cut the edging off with the bandsaw instead. Alright, so right after I routed the edges on my router table here, the project was pretty much finished. There was a couple more steps after that. I stained the project and we applied a finish, but for whatever reason I forgot to record it. So we're just gonna have to skip straight to the reveal, and I have it right over here, baby. Look at this. Look how beautiful she came out. Absolutely stunning. And I love how the very light gloss isn't overly glossy. It's a little bit more than a semi-gloss, but it appears as less than a high gloss. And I think it perfectly complements this piece. I think it came out incredible. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some pictures up on the screen for you guys.